You are asleep inside your own home. Outside, the winter night is bitterly cold. Everything is completely silent. Then suddenly, the ground beneath you begins to roar like 10,000 horses charging through the dark. You jolt awake. The room is shaking. Earth and debris begin falling from the ceiling. You have only a few seconds to decide. Run outside or stay where you are. And the most horrifying part is this. The most instinctive choice becomes the choice that kills hundreds of thousands. On January 23rd, 1556, in China, an earthquake turned humanity's own shelter into a buried tomb. This disaster struck Shanxi in the region of the Wei River Valley. At that time, millions of people were living in homes known as yaodong. These were homes carved directly into massive yellow cliffs, like man-made caves in the earth. In winter, they were warm. In summer, they were cool. They were cheap, durable, and almost perfect for this harsh land. To the people who lived there, yaodong was more than a home. It was the place where they felt the safest. But the very land that sheltered them was silently preparing a deadly trap. Those cliffs were made of aloe-SS, a fine wind-blown dust that had built up over countless ages. It was solid enough to carve into rooms, but dangerously weak against horizontal shaking. When the ground shook hard enough, what looked solid could suddenly lose all stability. The ceiling could become the thing that crushed the people beneath it, and the doorway could become the first place to die. Then that night came, January 23rd, 1556. An earthquake, estimated at around magnitude 8.0, tore apart the calm of the entire region. For the people sleeping inside the earth, it was the moment the entire world suddenly went mad. Objects crashed, walls split open, roofs collapsed. The ground no longer stood still beneath human feet. A young scholar named Quinn Queta, living near the epicentral region, left behind one of the most terrifying descriptions of that night. He said the sound of the earthquake was like 10,000 horses charging at once. In the first few seconds, he did not even understand what was happening. But then the wall beside him collapsed, and he realized the ground was killing people. Across Shanxi, hundreds of thousands were awakened in the night in total panic. And like human beings everywhere, they did the most natural thing. They ran for the door. It was pure instinct. When a home shakes, people want to run into open space. But inside Yaodong homes, that very instinct became a death sentence. Because the main entrance of these cave dwellings always opened toward the outer cliff face. And when the earthquake struck, that outer face was often the first part to fail. It cracked, collapsed outward, and buried the exit beneath tons of falling earth. Many were buried alive only a few steps from escape. Meanwhile, some trapped deeper inside survived because random pockets of air formed inside the rubble. In those few chaotic seconds, human survival instinct betrayed them. In parts of Hua County, records suggest as many as 6 out of 10 people were gone. The shaking was so powerful that it was felt as far away as Beijing. But the most horrifying truth is this: the deadliest part may not have been the first shaking at all. Modern estimates suggest the earthquake itself directly killed around 100,000 people. But the number forever tied to this disaster is 830,000. So how did the other 700,000 die? The answer is more terrifying than the earthquake itself. When dawn came, the survivors realized the real nightmare had only just begun. It was the middle of winter. The air was freezing. Many families lost a third of their loved ones in a single night. Food stores were buried. Wells were contaminated. Homes had become graves. The survivors stood in the bitter cold, wounded, starving, thirsty, and without shelter. In that moment, their survival should have depended on the state. But in Beijing, Emperor Jia Jing had long withdrawn from reality. He was consumed by Taoist rituals, alchemical elixirs, and an obsession with immortality. While the people froze among ruins, the court was facing a different question. What omen from heaven did this disaster represent? Under the political philosophy of the time, a catastrophe this great was not just a natural event. It was a sign that the ruler might have lost the mandate of heaven. And so the bureaucracy's first response was not purely rescue, it was interpretation. In a disaster, every hour of delay can mean thousands more dead. Relief eventually came, but it came slow, fragmented, and far too little. Some local officials tried to clear rubble and build temporary shelters, but the scale of destruction was overwhelming. Then aftershocks kept coming for months. Every shelter that had just been built could collapse all over again. No one dared sleep in peace. No one knew when the ground would shake again. Wells and streams across the region were fouled. The people knew the water was dangerous, but they drank it anyway. And after the cold, the hunger, and the dirty water, the next thing to come was almost inevitable. Disease. That is when the true meaning of 830,000 becomes clear. It is not just the number of people killed in the first wave of shaking. It is the total number of people who vanished from the region after the disaster. Those killed by collapsing homes. Those who died from injuries. Those who froze. Those who starved. Those who died from dirty water and disease. Nature struck first, but the failure of the system finished the rest. And in the middle of all this, Chin Crete did something remarkable. He observed. He looked at where the bodies were found. He looked at where the survivors were pulled from the rubble. And he realized a priceless truth. Many of the dead were found right at the exits, but some of the survivors had been deeper inside. From that, he wrote a simple instruction that went directly against human instinct. When an earthquake begins, do not rush outside. Get low and wait. Even if the nest collapses, a few eggs may still survive. Nearly 500 years later, the modern world would call that principle by another name. Drop, cover, hold on. Get low, take cover, hold on. Do not blindly panic and run for the door. One of the earliest survival lessons about earthquakes was born among corpses, dust, and the winter of the 16th century. That earthquake did not just destroy homes and monuments. It left a scar in the memory of the entire region. It reminds us that, on some nights, the safest home can become a coffin. And there are disasters where the first tremor is only the beginning. The earthquake of January 23rd, 1556, is not just a massive number in a history book. It is a reminder that nature does not always kill the most in the first moment. Sometimes, what kills more people is the cold afterward, the hunger afterward, the dirty water afterward, and the helplessness of an entire system afterward. The ground may shake for only minutes, but its consequences can kill for months. And that is why, nearly 500 years later, the world still remembers the night China buried hundreds of thousands of lives inside their own homes.